We welcome you to the NovaCare Complex, our continuing coverage of the 2020 Philadelphia Eagles, presented by DraftKings. Happy Christmas Eve to everyone out there, Eagles everywhere. I'm Eagles insider Dave Spadaro, along with Fran Duffy. Fran, Merry Christmas to you.
Same to you, Dave.
We are taking a look at the Eagles as they go through practice on this windy Thursday in South Philadelphia. Of course, the Dallas Cowboys straight ahead on Sunday. And there he is, number 55, for the first time in his career, Pro Bowler Brandon Graham.
So it was so awesome just to get that news earlier this week that BG would be able to make it into the Pro Bowl. Obviously a unique year to get that accolade, but still feels the same. And seeing the video of him and his family celebrating was awesome as well.
Brandon Graham, 11-year veteran, makes it to the Pro Bowl. And if you think that that means nothing to players, you really do need to check out the reaction that Brandon has shown all week. We're all so happy for him. An incredible Eagle, all-time Eagle, on the field, off the field, within the organization, in the community. Just does a great job. We also notice in this picture that Cameron Johnston is holding. That's a good sign. Of course, knocked out of the game last week in Arizona. In concussion protocol, now back on the field holding for Jake Elliott. So cross that concern off the list as the Eagles get ready for the Dallas Cowboys. In a game that means something, let's set up the playoff scenario for you. At 1 o'clock, the Eagles, getting Hurtsy with it. Yeah. Jalen Hurts getting ready for his third start.
You think that'll stick, getting Hurtsy with it?
I don't know, but I'm going with it. It was organic.
It was. That's great.
And then there we go, Jalen Mills saying, I don't care how cold it is. It's actually very warm today in South Philadelphia. But let's get you set up here. That reworked, revamped, injury-riddled secondary, getting Darius Slay back this week. So he'll be on the field against an outstanding wide receiver core from the Dallas Cowboys. Eagles need to win both of these games, Dallas and then Washington. And then they need the New York Giants to lose to either the Ravens on Sunday or the Cowboys the following week. And, of course, the Eagles need Washington to lose to Carolina on Sunday afternoon, 4 o'clock game. There's Darius Slay. We saw Jason Kelce, also one of 3 Pro Bowlers. Four Pro Bowls for Jason Kelce, 6 consecutive for Fletcher Cox. Fran, is Fletcher Cox potentially a member of the Pro Football Hall of Fame?
I think he's going to be certainly in that discussion when it's all said and done. I mean, when you look at a guy who's been as dominant as he has been, one of the best defensive tackles in his era over the course of his career, obviously it's not done yet, and I think you're going to continue to see him put up numbers. We've seen the sack production for Fletcher this year. Yeah, I think he's going to be in that discussion. Always difficult, and he's going to be playing, and he'll be around the same era as guys like Aaron Donald, so that might play against him, but he will certainly be in that discussion, Dave.
I think he still needs 2 to 3 more Pro Bowls.
Yeah. Okay.
And he's certainly got a lot of football left.
No question.
Hey, Eagles fans, we've got something for you if you're looking for that holiday gift. We've got programs available. Our Philadelphia Eagles Virtual Youth Football Clinic and Virtual Cheer and Dance Workshop. Both events are 2-day programs that take place on December 29th and December 30th. The football camp is a youth football clinic, perfect for kids ages 6 to 12, who will learn from Eagles legends, talk with Eagles players, and then improve their football skills through live football drills with Youth Academy coaches. The Eagles Cheer and Dance Workshop is for kids ages 5 to 14 and covers confidence building, dance, and cheerleading instruction. All levels are welcome from beginner to advanced. Visit PhiladelphiaEagles.com/clinics to get your tickets today. I'm Dave Spadaro, Eagles Insider, along with Fran Duffy. And we're presenting the Philadelphia Eagles regular season practice here from the NovaCare Complex, as we've done all year, presented by DraftKings. Fran, Eagles in the secondary, looking for some keepers, is one of them right there, Marcus Epps, who had a pretty darn big game against the Arizona Cardinals. End zone interception, couple of pass breakups, getting more and more comfortable in that single high safety role.
Yeah, I think the big thing that we've wanted to see Marcus Epps improve on over the course of his career has been just his reliability, his consistency coming downhill as a tackler. He was always known as a good athlete. Coming out of college, he was seen as one of the more athletic safeties in that draft class in 2019. The question was, can he get bigger, stronger, and just more reliable and more consistent coming downhill? I think with what he did this past week, those kinds of performances can be sparks for young players and kind of give them that juice, give them that confidence moving forward that maybe now they could start to mask some of those weaknesses. We've seen him come down and make some big stops in the flat one-on-one. I think he can certainly learn to improve there in that area, but great to see him come up with that production. Certainly a big-time red zone interception this past week against Kyler Murray, and that pass breakup late in the game as well over the middle. That was a really, really impressive play.
All right, Fran, let's talk about the Eagles and the Cowboys. The Eagles 4-9-1, the Cowboys 5-9. Eagles going against a team that has a +7 in the turnover department in wins over Cincinnati and San Francisco. Andy Dalton is the quarterback. He's been solid. He's added some stability to that position. Great receiving core. The defense is fast, but not very good against the run. In fact, awful against the run. Last in the NFL. Some more dancing there from the Eagles defensive backfield. Nick Hill, Roby Coleman. All right, let's talk about the Eagles offense, Fran. I would imagine you want to come in here and try to run the football against the Cowboys. Opportunity should be there should Doug Peterson take that route.
Yeah, I think when you ultimately see how this team has defended the run over the course of this season, it has not been pretty for this Dallas defense. Right before the last matchup in Week 8, remember they had cut like 2 or 3 guys that were playing significant snaps for them, especially in that front 7. So they shook some things up. They've had a little bit more success over the last couple of weeks, but as you mentioned, they've been playing some not so great offenses, right? So I think ultimately when you look at this defense, you're going to try and see if you can get the ball going on the ground against them, see if you can move the ball in lots of different ways. And the Eagles have a very creative run game. I think that they'll try and find ways to move the ball, whether it's outside or downhill between the tackles.
And Miles Sanders did not play in that first meeting, that Sunday night game, Week 8. Eagles had 89 rushing yards in the first half, finished with 119. Carson Wentz, a very tough outing with 2 interceptions and 2 lost fumbles. Jalen Hurts, the quarterback, now has not thrown an interception since becoming the starter. The last 2 games, 5 touchdown passes, 1 touchdown run, and a very nice command of an offense that Fran has not shortened the leash at all with number 2 at the position. There he is, Deshaun Jackson. 21-day practice window has opened. Head coach Doug Peterson saying that Jackson is, quote, close to returning to action. We do not know if that means Sunday against Dallas, but clearly Deshaun activated for a reason.
Yeah, I mean, with only 2 games left, I would assume that the assumption is going to be that he's going to play in one of these two games, if not both. So I'm interested to see ultimately what he can do with this new look offense. With these young receivers starting to make plays. We saw some things with Quez Watkins, and I thought Jalen Reagor maybe had his best game as an Eagle this past week. So interested to see how Jalen kind of worked, or how Deshaun works into the mix with some of these young guys.
Deshaun Jackson, 13 catches this year, has only played in 4 games, hasn't played since that first Giants game, was hurt on that late game punt return. We expected so much more from Deshaun when he returned to the Eagles via trade from Tampa Bay prior to the 2019 season. Injuries have just kept him off the field. You gotta believe that he's hungry, that he's excited, that he wants to get back in here. And I mean, whether you like it or not, 4-9-1, yeah, tough season, but the Eagles are in a must-win situation on Sunday. And that's exciting to players, Fran.
Yeah, I mean, this is what you're hoping for, is to be playing for something late in the season. And whether you're a young guy trying to prove yourself or a vet, continuing to try and see. Look, you don't know how many more runs you've gotten in, no matter what position you're playing. If you're a veteran, you're going to try and make the best out of every season possible. So all these guys are going to be working hard to win these next 2 games. That's a stupid thing to say. Of course they are. But I think for these vets, these chances, you don't know how many more of them you have. So you're going to make the most out of every available opportunity.
And there's the offensive line that we expect, fingers crossed, to be the same starting 5 as last week.
Second time all year.
Which means Matt Pryor at right tackle again. Running backs, Miles Sanders, Jordan Howard on the practice squad, Corey Clement, Huntley, who did not make the trip. Jason Huntley did not make the trip last week to Arizona. Good to see him back on the practice field. And there's Boston Scott. Miles Sanders, 810 rushing yards, Fran. I am holding out hope that in a big 2-game flurry here, we see Miles Sanders break the 1,000-yard mark. Last Eagles running back to do it, LaShawn McCoy in 2014. 1,319 yards, I believe. It's been by committee since, and I think we all agree that Miles is the guy who's going to carry the load for this Eagles running game.
Yeah, I mean, the last 2 weeks have certainly been big for him. I would say that it's been about as big as Elijah Holyfield's quads as we see them there in the picture. I think ultimately when you look at the run game, that has become a little bit of the foundation here, for the Eagles offense. And I think ultimately, if you're able to get him going, you're able to get Jalen Hurts going, you factor in guys like Boston Scott, getting him out in the perimeter. That's really when this offense can really start getting things going. You look back to New Orleans, 2 weeks ago, then you're factoring in the quarterback run game, the play action, the option run game. There's all different elements that you can kind of sprinkle in there, but that requires you to stay ahead of the sticks, stay ahead in the scoreboard as well. The Eagles were up 17-0 against New Orleans. Last week, down 16-0 early, you had to rely a little bit more on throwing the football. I think a better game script for sure will be trying to get these guys going in the run game early and maintaining that lead.
We saw Quez Watkins there, one of 3 Eagles draft picks, as the Eagles kind of overhauling for the present and the future the wide receiver position. Quez taking that screen pass, which returned to the passing game last week. Took that from Jalen Hurts. Nice blocking from Jordan Mailata. And Watkins turns it into a 32-yard touchdown run. Fran, I imagine a big confidence boost for a 6th-round draft pick who hadn't played very much this season. We see the burst that he has. And the Eagles excited about some of these young receivers. And there's 2 of them right there. Greg Ward, who's been terrific in the slot. Travis Fulgham, who's been really, really hot and then really, really not. And then last week had some late-game catches, so you hope that that's a good sign for things to come from him. And then, of course, Jalen Reagor and John Hightower. Reagor playing well, Hightower flashing, and has been inactive the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, you want to see all these guys try and get in and just contribute whenever their number is called. And that was the big thing with Quez Watkins. And he talked about that when he met the media on Wednesday was, hey, look, when they called my number, I was there to pick up, and I was able to come through. On my second career touch, he goes 32 yards to the house. And, really happy for him to be able to show off what his skill set can be in this Eagles offense. I think it's just really fun. I actually talked with Quez this week on our one-on-one interview presented by Bob's Discount Furniture. And you can find that right now on PhiladelphiaEagles.com or the Eagles mobile app. And he just talked about how cool it is to work with these 3 rookie receivers. You factor in a guy like Travis Fulgham, who has actually worked out with Jalen Hurts this offseason. Ironically, they trained for the draft together, so those guys have a little bit of a rapport. But just seeing all these young guys come in and compete, they're all going to vie for reps. It's not going to be easy to spread the ball around to all these guys you see here on the screen. But that's why I'm interested to see ultimately what that target share looks like here the next couple weeks.
Let's talk about the Dallas Cowboys, friend, and the defense. They have been terrible against the run. We talked about that, but they're pretty good against the pass. They've got a bit of a pass rush. They've taken the ball all the way 7 times against backup quarterbacks, the Bengals and the 49ers. What do you expect from that defense on Sunday?
So this is a group, and this whole Dallas team, by the way, no Pro Bowl players for the first time since 1989.
1989, yeah.
But I think when you look at, certainly their best player defensively is DeMarcus Lawrence, the defensive end. He's going to line up whether it's against Jordan Mailata or against Matt Pryor. They move him around from side to side. So that's going to be the number one test. You got to make sure that DeMarcus Lawrence doesn't wreck the game. After that, you got a bunch of defensive backs. They've had injuries here and there, but one guy who had 2 interceptions that last game and back in Week 8 is going to be the rookie second-round pick, Trayvon Diggs, the younger brother of Stephon Diggs out of Alabama. He's big, he's long, he's instinctive, and he can make plays with the ball in the air. So the Eagles have to obviously be aware of where he's at, but they've got some young veterans as well. I mean, Xavier Woods at free safety. Chidobe Awuzie is back from injury. He did not play in that Week 8 game. They're a better defense when he's out there. So it's a fast group. Obviously, you've got those 2 linebackers there in the middle. They're going to be flying around, but they have given up some big plays this year.
And Van Der Esch banged up with the high ankle sprain.
Yep.
They've got some injuries as well to contend with. Offensively, Fran, tough matchup against Amari Cooper, against CeeDee Lamb, against Michael Gallup. Tony Pollard has been very productive with Ezekiel Elliott banged up. Eagles defense needs to get after Andy Dalton because he's not running away from anybody.
It's a very quick passing game. That's what they really want the ball to come out of Andy Dalton's hands fast, and that's not just a Dalton thing. That's because of that offensive line. I mean, they've got 4 backups in there. It's very similar to the situation the Eagles have had. They've had a little bit more continuity in that the guys that have gone in haven't necessarily gotten hurt as well. So they've had a lot of the same offensive line combinations, but I mean, when you look at that depth chart right now, it's not a lot of names that are household, Dave, in terms of Brandon Knight at left tackle and Connor McGovern at right guard, and, just Terrence Steele at right tackle. These are matchups you can win if you're the Eagles' defensive line, but the ball is going to come out fast. So the Eagles have to find ways to prevent Andy Dalton from getting rid of the ball as quickly as he would like.
Fran, it's all about the line of scrimmage. Let's be honest here. There's a reason that for so many years the Eagles have drafted heavy on the offensive and defensive lines. We find out this year when you have so many injuries up front how difficult it is to get the offense into some sort of consistent flow. And this part of the game for the Eagles, very important because the kickoff return team, with all of the injuries, it really trickles down to special teams. Who's playing where? What kind of experience do they have? Eagles have just not been able to bust that big kickoff return to really set up the offense in good position.
Yeah, and you had the block punt last week. They certainly just got to make sure, at least tighten things up special teams wise, so you're not giving up any big plays. But the ability to create one, I mean, we know the kind of impact that can have as well for your offense, for your defense. Whoever's coming out in the field next just gives them all kinds of juice, all kinds of energy, and being able to steal a possession would be huge as well.
We are live at the NovaCare Complex in South Philadelphia. Our coverage continues of the 2020 Philadelphia Eagles regular season, presented by DraftKings. I'm Eagles insider Dave Spadaro, along with Fran Duffy. We wish you all a happy holiday season, and for those who celebrate, a Merry Christmas. As the Eagles prepare for the Dallas Cowboys on Sunday, make sure you're with us on PhiladelphiaEagles.com, as well as our official app, our social media channels. We got you covered from start to finish as the Eagles, in a must-win situation, keep their playoff hopes alive. And, of course, they do need some help from the Giants, losing 1 of 2 games. And the Washington football team, hey, let's go Matt Rule. Let's go Carolina Panthers. Beat Washington as the Eagles take care of their own business against the Dallas Cowboys at AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas, where there will be, Fran, up to, 20, 30,000 fans there?
Yeah.
Including, I spoke to Jalen Reagor on the Eagles Insider podcast, which dropped yesterday. His entire family will be there, so He's excited about that. I'm sure that Jalen Hurts, who grew up in Houston, Texas, will have a contingent there. Jalen Mills, also from Dallas, Texas. All of the Jalens are from Texas.
That's right. Yeah. It's it's always great when you have those family members there in attendance. But Dallas certainly one of the few teams right now that have allowed fans into the building. So a little bit of a negative atmosphere in terms of going on for a home field advantage, and Dallas has that in their favor.
Let's be honest. Cowboys, those who are watching the game on Sunday, I would tell you there's going to be more Eagles fans than Cowboys fans. Eagles have had some success down there. Have not swept the Cowboys since the 2011 season. So it's a big one for the Eagles on Sunday to keep these playoff hopes alive. A 4-9-1 record. Yeah, we know it's been a tough year, but you just want to get into the postseason, and then anything can happen. We thank you all for joining us here for our continuing coverage of the Philadelphia Eagles 2020 regular season. I'm Eagles Insider Dave Spadaro along with Fran Duffy. We wish you all happy holiday season. Merry Christmas to everyone, and make sure you're with us on Sunday. Eagles, Cowboys from Arlington, Texas. We've got complete coverage for you right here. Have a great day, everybody. Have a great Eagles Day, everyone. And fly, Eagles, fly.